Whoa. This horse has a really nice stop, really responsive, really tuned in to me. And I want to talk a little bit about how I get that stop. What I see a lot of people do, if they ask their horse to stop and the horse don't stop, they just pull him and back him up. There is a situation where that is the right thing to do, but in many cases that's the wrong thing to do. And let's talk about that. If I'm trotting my horse around or walk or lope, whatever, but I'm going to talk about a trot, I'm moving my horse around and I come and I ask him to stop, and he stops at what's good for him. Whoa. But I want more. If I go straight into kind of pulling and backing up and scolding on him, saying, I want more, I want more, I want you to stop better, what's going to happen is not only is he going to be stopping with his back end, he's going to start stopping with his front end. That's going to create a stop that jars you real hard. I'll talk a little bit about how to undo that if you have a horse that does that. But let's say you come around and you ask your horse to stop, and you pick up your reins and you go to pull him to stop and he doesn't stop. He just pushes through. What I'm going to do in that case, it's not going to do any good for me to pull back because he's already pushing forward. We're just going to get into a pulling match. You don't ever want to get into a fight with your horse. What I'm going to do in that situation, I'm going to ask the horse to move forward and I'm going to free up his shoulders. I'm going to do some counter bending, counter arc, pick up the right shoulder, pick up the left shoulder, and then I'm going to ask the horse to stop again. Whoa. And you notice I asked him to stop while I was holding the shoulder up. If I pull on the horse to stop and he pushes into my hands, I'm not going to get a very good stop. He's going to push through the stop. I'm just going to end up pulling. The whole key to getting a good stop is to ask for a stop and not have resistance in the face. That resistance, if the horse pushes with his face, he has to push with his front feet to get that leverage to push with his face. So to soften the face to get the better stop, I'm going to work the resistance here in the front feet. You see me do this a lot because this helps so many different aspects of the horse. And one of the things that's very important with is having a good stop. See, in this position, we're traveling forward, and you see how he has that right shoulder lifted up. And I ask him to stop. Whoa. I ask him to stop, and he didn't push with his face, he didn't push with his shoulders. So a real big key in getting a good quality stop is making sure I don't have resistance in the shoulder. I don't give the horse leverage to push with his feet so he can push with his face. That is the first step to getting a good stop. Make sure you don't have resistance in the shoulders. When you go to pull your horse to stop and the horse doesn't stop, he pushes on your hands. The problem isn't the face, the problem is the shoulders. Work the shoulders, the face will fix itself. And 99% of horse training, the face is not what you need to work on. If he doesn't want to stop, the face is not the issue, the shoulders are the issue. So let's say I'm getting a good stop. He's stopping with his shoulders up. We're coming to a square stop. I want more engagement here. So what I will do, I'm going to trot around a little bit. I want more engagement in the back end. I want to work towards that dynamic stop that you see him doing. So what I'm going to do in that situation is I want him to use his back end more. As I'm trotting around, I'll take a hold of the right rein, but instead of pushing with the right leg, I'm going to push with the left leg. Basically, I'm doing a haunches out, asking him to engage that left hip, push it underneath him. Whoa. See how I had that left hip under him? he really pushed to get in the ground to stop with that left hip. Let's do the same thing with the right hip. I'll go the other direction. Tip his nose to the left. Tip his nose to the left. Push with my right leg in the hip. Really push that hip under him. Tell him, I want you to use your hip. Use your left hip. Use your left hip. Whoa. That's what really gets his hip engaged to get the dynamic stops that you see him doing. Pulling is not the answer. In fact, you will never see me pull a horse into a stop. I will make contact on the horse's face, but the stop in the back is always two different maneuvers. I'll stop, and then I will ask the horse to back. I will never pull the horse through the stop into the back. Right there, when he becomes stopped, there's tension right there. I'm not going to release that tension by pulling. You're never going to release tension by pulling. You release tension by softening up the part of the body that has that tension in it. Pulling is not the answer. Pulling only creates more tension. Let's talk a little bit about the three ways you can stop a horse. I can say the word, whoa. I can pull, or I can stop with my body. I will use my hand to stop, but I'm not going to use my hand to stop and go through the backup. That's where people get mixed up. I will use my hand to stop, but I'm not going to pull straight through from the stop to the backup. So if I pull to stop, we stopped. I'm not going to keep pulling. You notice I released. So that's one way. We all use our hands way too much to stop. That's one way I can stop. The other way I can stop is I can say the word to stop. Whoa. I can say the word and we'll stop. That's number two. The other thing we can do is I can stop riding with my body to get the horse to stop. So that's the three ways you can ask your horse to stop. You need to train each one of those independently, because depending on the exercise that you're doing with pushing the body around, engaging the hip, lifting the shoulders, you might use a couple of those. Because let's say I have the shoulder up and the hip engaged. Shoulder up, hip engaged. Now watch what my legs do. I'm going to hold him in this position through the stop. Whoa. I softened my seat, but I still kept his hip engaged. I still kept his shoulder up. All that has to work independently. You don't always want to have to give a real big stop cue to get your horse to stop. See, now let's talk about what he just did. When I push my feet forward, I stop riding. That is also my backup cue. So even though I don't pull from the stop through the backup, I will use my seat from stop to backup. Don't mix that up, because mixing that up creates some serious problems. Let's try it off again. Get him bridled up. He's pushing on my hands a little bit. Remember what I said when he pushes on your hands? Soften the shoulders. Always the shoulders. Never fuss at the face. Always soften the shoulders. Softening the shoulders is the key to softening the face. Soften the shoulders. Come around. And if the shoulders are not soft, let's say I go to ask him to stop. Whoa. That was a pretty good stop. But let's say the shoulders were not soft. They didn't stay soft during the stop. What I would do was pick him up, go forward, soften the shoulders, pick the shoulders up. I'm never going to pull him back to ask for more stop. That is only going to create a problem. That's going to create a problem where he starts stopping with all 4 feet. jabbing his feet in the ground, making for a stop that's really uncomfortable for both the horse and you. So this is Hank. I'll put a link up here to some of the other videos that I've done with him. Until next time, thank you for watching.